Hi, my name is Curt Van Inwegen, and I'm a partner and the CEO of Life Elements.
Hi, and I'm Martha Van Inwegen. I am the founder of the company and also the alchemist. I formulate everything that we offer to the public, and I started the company back in 2005. In 2015, I started experimenting with CBD in my formulas and found that it was an excellent ingredient for all kinds of maladies.
So a lot of people want to know, what's the difference between hemp and pot or hemp and marijuana? So in the big scheme of things, they're all from the Cannabaceae family. And then you have two major strains of cannabis, which are called sativa and indica. And within those two types of marijuana product, you have all these different blends or strains. And when you're buying marijuana, you can have it tuned basically to whatever it is you need. But over here on the cannabis sativa side is kind of like the uncle, and that is hemp. Hemp is part of the cannabis family. It's part of the cannabis sativa family, but it's an entirely different plant. By its own nature and by legal definition, it has 0.3% or less of THC. THC is obviously that component that is the psychoactive ingredient. And so some of those other marijuana plants are 100% THC, very little CBD. We only work with hemp-derived CBD. And in addition to CBD, CBD is what they call a cannabinoid, and there are dozens and dozens of other different types of cannabinoids. And each one of those has a very important part of the entourage effect, because all those ingredients work together. You can even separate out some of those cannabinoids to achieve very specific results. We use what's called a broad spectrum CBD product, and that is CBD that has been harvested and cultivated, and they use the whole plant, so all those little pieces. And the best example is to think of maybe juice. So if you have juice and it's just got the liquid, that's just CBD. But if you're taking all the benefits, all the pulp and the fiber, that's what broad and full spectrum CBD is. You're getting the whole benefits of the plant. And that's the ingredient that we use as the basis for our CBD products.
And so another question that we get asked a lot is, what is the difference between isolate, broad spectrum, and full spectrum? And just as Curt mentioned, when you take that whole plant and they're starting to extract the CBDs, because again, there's multiple CBD, CBG, CBN, CBDA. When you have an isolate, what that means is that they've removed all the other CBDs and have remained with one, the main CBD, but CBG, CBDA, CBN, they're all gone. They've gone by the wayside. And the reason why a lot of companies use an isolate is because it's very easy to work with, it's very inexpensive, and a lot of people get confused because it will say this is 99.9% pure CBD. That is correct, because all the other CBDs have been removed. Broad spectrum means that they have retained all the CBDs but taken out the THC. So there is 0% THC. And then full spectrum has the 0.03% THC. The reason that we use broad spectrum is that because when you're using it topically, which is our main products, you don't need the THC for it to affect what you may be using it for. So the THC is not necessary. Second is that we work with a lot of first responders, and they get tested a lot for drug testing. And although when you're using it as a topical, it does not get into the blood system, they still want to be assured that there's absolutely no chance that they would get tested. And so we've made the choice to work with broad spectrum. All our ingredients are natural. I try to work with as many plant-based products as possible. We don't use any synthetic fragrances, any synthetic ingredients. So in terms of fragrance, for instance, people will say, but I smell something, and it could be eucalyptus, it could be ylang ylang. I love working with pure essential oils and mixing them into the formulas because they work in concert with everything else that I've put into those formulas, especially with the CBD. You know, we use cajabut, which is great for pain, and then when you team it with the CBD, it just creates the superpower of pain reducing and inflammation reducing benefits. And so that's how I love to formulate. Curt mentioned that we use a lot of ingredients. Well, not all together, all at once, because I like to keep my formulation simple. Simplicity is the best. I've seen formulas where you have a list of all these products, but they don't necessarily work in concert together. Some of them there are just there to make it shelf stable for multiple years. You know, we like it. We want you to use the product immediately, and so I'm not using preservatives that are going to affect or go into your blood system.
How does this actually work, especially if you're using it as a topical? So every animal has what's called an endocannabinoid system. Humans, cats, dogs, birds. And what that means is that your endocannabinoid system readily receives cannabinoids. And cannabinoids do not necessarily have to come from cannabis. Some can come from flaxseed, echinacea, and there's a few other natural components that have cannabinoids. So when your body receives cannabinoids, so for example, if you put a topical product on to help reduce some elbow pain, you apply that, and you have two kinds of receptors in your body. One's called CB1, which lies along a lot of the neural pathways for your central nervous system. And then they have a CB2 receptor, which lies kind of all throughout your body and are typically at the very base of your hair follicles underneath your skin. So when you apply it topically, the CBD in the product interacts with the receptor, and that receptor accepts and uses the CBD. And that's what helps to reduce inflammation, helps to have your skin cells to regenerate for wounds and things like that. And that's the simplistic way of looking at how it works. And the other analogy to think about is that your endocannabinoid system is very much like air traffic control, which means that your body will use CBD where it'll put it where it needs to go. And that's one of the beauties of it, is that it can move throughout your body and help heal a number of different things. It's not a cure-all, but it has the capacity, much like compost does in a garden. You know, compost is not fertilizer. And what compost can do is it can help to add moisture to your soil, it can add nutrients to your soil, it can aerate your soil. CBD does much the same thing in your body, where it can do a number of different things. So a lot of people want to know what the difference is between applying CBD topically on your skin, or ingesting it, or inhaling it. So when you apply it topically, it works on soft tissue and gets absorbed and interacts with your CB2 receptors underneath your skin. When you take it, and there's an immediate effect. When you take it orally, you use it as a tincture, it goes underneath your tongue, or you swallow it. When you take it as a tincture, it gets absorbed very, very quickly, and it gets into your blood system quicker. When you ingest something and swallow it, it goes into your stomach and then has to work its way out through your liver, which takes a lot longer.
And it gets diluted.
And it gets diluted. The bioavailability is much, much less than when you're taking it underneath the tongue or inhaling it. And those are the two big distinctions. A lot of people do like the time release effect of taking something that goes into their stomach. It'll be absorbed, and the efficacy happens over time. But it's not like taking any type of like a Tylenol or an acetaminophen or anything like that, because it's a very different process. It is not instantly killing pain. It is building your health and your pain relief and your inflammation reduction from the inside, which is why a lot of our customers like to take a tincture from the inside, as well as using something topically.
Yeah, and also too, don't forget that they're not going to feel something, because that's the other thing. It's like, am I going to feel weird?
Right. Okay.
So
yeah, this is when you take something internally, a CBD product. It is it's a longer term play, and what happens is people will try it for a day or so and they say nothing happened and they'll stop. But what we always encourage people to do is to take it over the course of 3 to 5 days and then stop, because that's when you notice the effect. You notice the effect when you stop using it. It's like anything else, when you're feeling pretty good and then you stop taking it and then you notice the difference right away. But there's no visceral feeling right out of the gate. And so there is a little bit of patience that's involved when you're taking it internally, and then you can supplement that by using it topically if that's something that will help you.
Yep. We always encourage folks to give it at least a week's try minimum, just to get it to build up and work from within. So
when you take CBD, when you ingest it or use it as a tincture, it helps to create serotonin. And serotonin does a number of different things in your body. The most visceral reaction people will get is when they take our sleep tincture, because you'll know whether it's working in a night or two. But that overall inflammation and wellness from more of a pain relief perspective does take time. It needs to work its way through your body. Your body is very complex. You got multiple organs and tendons and muscles, and all those things need to be sort of worked out over the course of a few days.
And also too, CBD doesn't affect everybody the same way. It really depends on what your health status is when you start taking it. And so, Curt, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, when you compare CBD, a lot of people will say, well, I've been taking these opiates. A lot of those kinds of drugs are synthetic. They're like a pesticide. A pesticide does one thing. It kills the weeds, but it also kills all that stuff all around it. When you take a synthetic opioid, it does the same thing. It does one thing, but it has these dramatic effects throughout the rest of your body. Whereas CBD is more of a balancer. It will go in and help to repair the things that need repairing, but it's not going to destroy something that isn't broken. And that's the biggest benefit. It works in concert with your body. And
it's not addictive. So,
and we manufacture everything here in our facility. We're based in Atascadero, and we do everything here. Super important differentiator for our products are that we make everything in-house. The formulations, the ingredients are all assembled here, and then we manufacture everything here. We do all our product packaging and labeling, and the finished goods are right here in our shipping area, and they are shipped to you directly. So chances are, if you order something from one of our retailers or from our store directly, that product was made within the last week or two. And that's super important, because a lot of the products that you get at the larger stores, the big box stores, are mass marketed, and they are made by a very small collection of manufacturing facilities around the country, and they've got stabilizers and they've got preservatives, and they may have been sitting on that shelf for months, if not longer.
Yeah.
And that's a huge differentiator in the quality and the freshness and ultimately the efficacy of our products.
And another important thing too is that a lot of the products that are on the market today, CBD products, are 3 to 4 times removed from the actual maker. So what is happening is that you'll have this huge company making large batches of product, and what it's called white label or private label, and then other companies come and buy it, put their label on it, ship it to somebody else will come to ask them, hey, can I put my label on your label? And so it becomes so far removed that eventually you don't know who the actual maker is. Well, you're looking at the maker, excuse me. So we make everything. I source all the ingredients myself, and like Curt said, we make everything here, so we know when you're going to get the product.
Yeah, and our production team, we've got multiple production rooms for different products. We follow good manufacturing practices, which is super important. Each one of our production team has been trained, mentored by Martha. They've taken educational classes, and so we do everything we can to ensure the highest possible quality for you, the customer.
Mm-hmm. We are not the growers of the CBD. We do work with a company that we have trusted since we began working with the product, so over 4 years, and they're out of Colorado. We know that the hemp is organically grown. We've been to the facilities, we've met with everybody in person, and so we know what we're getting. And as soon as we do get the oil, we third-party test it. The oil that we receive comes with its own certificate of analysis, a COA, which is important for you to know. You should read the COAs of all products. Ours are on our website. You can easily link to the certificate of analysis. And in that, it will tell you what kind of testing was done and whether it has chemicals,
solvents,
anything like that. Heavy metals. And so even though we trust them, I still send it out to a third party to ensure that what they said is in there is indeed in there. And so I'm very confident, and I love the company. We have a lot of other companies from around the US, from Kentucky and Oregon, coming to us all the time asking us to use their product. But after you do some analysis and some testing of that, it's, I don't find that the quality is as high as what I'm using. So again, we do our own third-party testing to make sure that you are getting the best product on the market.
We started making products several years ago, and they were based on this idea of nature-based ingredients. There's a lot of ancient nature-based ingredients that have existed for centuries and that are incredibly effective at helping your body to heal naturally. There are so many products out there that can cause environmental cancers, internal issues, because they have synthetic ingredients. And so the basis for everything that we do is that we use natural, nature-based ingredients that are time-tested. And that's what's super important for us. And they work. And they work, and we know they work because people call us, they send us emails, they write reviews on our website. And some of these things that people have told us are so powerful because they were able to get off opioids, or they were able to get more mobility. It doesn't heal everything. There's nerve-related issues that we talked about before, and CBD can help reduce that inflammation that surrounds those nerves and at least give you a range of motion. We have people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s who were not able to walk around the block and are now able to walk around.
The run. Bill, yeah, we have one customer who takes his daily walks, and he was slowing down. He says, I want to get back into running at my 5 miles a day, and he's 80. And so he tried the ache and pain relief stick, and it became a miracle for him. And so now he's back to running his 5 miles a day, and he's an AG, and he calls all the time saying, what miracle workers we are. And it's those kinds of stories and feedback that just keeps us motivated and going. And I often get people calling so often saying, why do your products work? I have tried every CBD product on the market. I have spent so much money on that. Why do your products work? And it goes back to using all natural ingredients. Everything Mother Nature has provided, it works for us. And so it's just learning to tune in those combinations and making them work together. But the testimonials that we get, we cry. We have letters that we read and we post for our employees, and we all just sit here and cry, and because it's just so heartwarming and makes me feel so good to know that we are helping other people.
That's it.
Our main line is called CBD and Honey, and that's because I became a beekeeper several years ago, and I loved working with the bees, and I love what honey can do. That's another just natural health product, and so I started incorporating into our topicals, and we came out with a healing honey stick. And what we found was that a lot of folks were using this for eczema and psoriasis. That will in itself, the honey with everything else that we were using in it was helping with all these other issues. And so from there, that's when I started adding the CBD. So since 2016, when we first launched the CBD and Honey collection, we have added other products. One of our top sellers is our ache and pain relief. And again, this is a topical. It comes in a simple twist-up tube, so it's easy and convenient to apply, whether it's on your back or on your hand. And as we mentioned earlier, when you're applying it topically, it goes to work within 5 to 10 minutes. So whether it's arthritis, whether it's you're waiting for knee replacement surgery, anything like that, a torn muscle, rotator cuff, this is the go-to. We have so many folks that just swear by this, and we do have it in multiple strains. So depending on what your pain level may be, let's say from 1 to 10, we have a 500 milligram stick, and then higher than that, we do offer 1,000 milligram CBD stick. Now, another thing to know about CBD is that it's basically based on volume. So these two sticks, our stick here says 125 milligrams, this one says 500. They're actually identical. When you're talking about CBD, it's based on the volume of the container. So if you're trying to compare products with other products, apples to apples, what you want to do is break it down to the ounce level and figure out how many milligrams of CBD you're getting per ounce. And so this is a half ounce, so this is why it's 125 grams. This is a 2 ounce, and why it's 500 milligrams. So again, that's a really important thing to know when you're buying CBD. One of our other big sellers are our bath bombs. We are well known for our CBD bath bombs, and a lot of people don't understand how that can help with pain. But basically, what we're doing is we're using water-soluble CBD, and the reason that is important is because oil and water do not mix. And so when you have the CBD oil and you drop it into water, a lot of the CBD bath bombs on the market, the oil floats on top. And so the only benefit you're getting out of those CBD products is whatever is touching the skin. Whereas where it's water soluble, you drop the bath bomb into the water, it gets dispersed evenly throughout that. So anything that's below that water level is absorbing. All your CBD receptors that throughout your body are absorbing it and using it to fight wherever your inflammation is. It helps you relax, calm down at the end of the evening, and when you're relaxed and calm, you sleep much better. So a lot of folks actually use those as a sleep aid as well. We do make a tincture, sublingual tinctures, and we have sleep. We have a health boost, a sleep boost. We also have a pet boost for pets, because as we mentioned, pets also do have their own endocannabinoid system. So it really helps with anxiety. It helps with their own inflammation. So if you have an older pet, you can use it on them as well, because they get arthritis just as we do. And so giving them a daily boost like that will help them to level their endocannabinoid system as well. We also offer a facial collection. And another really important thing, and I keep remembering these little things, is that as part of our facial collection, we have a face wash and a face mask, a day serum. Again, it's for skin health. So what CBD does for the skin is that it helps regenerate faster. So typically your skin regenerates every 28 days. So if you slough off the dead skin cells and such. So with CBD, what may take 28 days may now take 15. And so your skin will look much healthier, much smoother. But one of the things I wanted to mention is that there is a time when CBD does not make sense. And that's when it's a wash off. So again, we make a face wash, but the face wash does not have any CBD because it does not sit on the face or the skin long enough to enter the CBD receptors. So again, keep an eye out for that. You're going to be seeing a lot of shampoos, shampoo bars, and wash off products like that saying this is so much better than your regular shampoo because it has CBD, but it's not. It's just a waste of money because you're going to be washing it off. So don't buy into that. And so for our face serums, again, we have a day serum and a night serum, and basically the day serum has 250 milligrams CBD, where the night serum has 500. And I made them much stronger for night because that's when you're resting and your skin is accepting a lot more of the moisture and the CBD benefits. So these are leave-in. You know, you just apply it like a moisturizer, and bada bing, bada bang, you're ready to go.
One of the things that is very important to us is sustainability, and so we have a lot of people who order our products on a continuous basis, which is wonderful. And we came up with a refillable program. So instead of shipping our oil every single month in a glass jar like this or like this, we now offer the option for people to purchase a refillable package. And it does several things. One is every glass is 100% recyclable. You can do it over and over. But it has a huge carbon footprint because what it takes to create that glass is very carbon intensive. Then there's shipping. So when we ship glass products, we have to be very careful. We don't want them to break in transit, so we have to add a lot of extra shipping. So this is one of our refillable products. It's an oil. It comes in a much smaller container, and it can refill the existing glass container. And we can ship this in an envelope, which reduces our carbon footprint from a shipping perspective. And so there's a lot of benefits to, while this is a Mylar package, the overall carbon footprint of this, getting it to the customer, is much, much, much less. Plus, it's something that you can travel with instead of carrying glass around. I want to go back to the ache and pain stick just to talk about, before we added CBD, we had an ache and pain stick. And one of the reasons why this stick works better than most of the products on the market is not just because of the CBD, the dosage of the CBD or the quality of the CBD, it's because there's other beneficial, historical, ancient ingredients that help to reduce inflammation. Things like arnica and camphor, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, copaiba, eucalyptus. All those things have been proven for a long, long time to help reduce inflammation. And so before we even made the CBD products, we had an ache and pain product that worked. Once you add that CBD, it makes a tremendous difference.
You went from Batman to Superman.
Batman's pretty cool.
I know. Superman's stronger, I think.